Hello, Snugglebugs. Welcome to today's Hearthstone video. We're going to be reviewing the Warlock cards from the upcoming Titans expansion coming out in like a week, probably less than that by the time this goes up. But first, we have a 1-mana spell, Chaotic Consumption. Destroy a friendly minion to destroy an enemy minion. I think that's just really good. Warlocks play potentially a lot of either low-cost Death Rattle minions. And the way this is worded makes me feel like you get to choose the enemy minion. So you can sacrifice a 1-1 to destroy like an 8-8 or something like that. Or you, like I said, you might play Death Rattle, so you actually get a bonus effect by destroying your own minion, maybe an egg or something like that. You can destroy your opponent's even 3-3 to give you like a, the undead foul, so you get yourself a 3-3 and to take out your opponent's 3-3, all for really 2 mana and 2 cards, which is pretty powerful. I think this will find place in a lot of Warlock decks. Even Thaddeus Warlock gives you another chance to destroy your own cards to summon demons from your hand, and of course then take out an opponent's minion and helps you keep your demons alive. Next up we have the Warlock Forge card, which allows you to dink blacksmith it over your deck for 2 mana. Remember, Forge always costs 2 mana, to upgrade it. So initially it's battle cry, discard a spell to summon 2 3/2 imps. So I mean, right alone without looking at Forge, 4 mana 3/3, sure you have to discard a card, sometimes in Warlock that's not negative, and get 2 3/2 imps. So it becomes a 4 mana, would that be 9/7 in stats? That's really strong, by the way. Insert 4 mana 7/7 memes here. And then if you do forge it, whether the same turn or before, anytime you have 2 free mana, it gives them taunt, plus 2 health and taunt, which keeps him alive, makes them 3/4s with taunt. Just crazy when you think of the fact that there's 4 mana 3/5s with taunt. Obviously don't get played anymore, at least not super often. But to think that 4 mana can summon you now would be 9/11 in stats, 2 bodies of which have taunt. I think this card is amazing. Of course, it depends on what spell you're discarding, but worth it. Next up, we have a new location, Forge of Wills. Choose a friendly minion, summon a giant with its stats, and give it rush. Now, the giant, of course, is just the token it would use. Wouldn't actually affect it in any way. It just summons something that looks like this. Little 1/1 if you did it to a 1-cost minion. And again, I mean, anytime you can summon a free copy of something and give it rush for 3 mana twice, like, even if you use this on the 2 mana card you played in order to allow it to trade into your opponent's card that they played on their turn, it's like a free trade, right? On the first turn, 3 mana trade, and you get to use it again later. I actually think this was one of the more powerful location cards that they've come out with. Next up, we have a 9 mana Imprisoned Horror. Costs 1 less for each damage you've taken on your own turns this game. Now, it's not each time you've taken damage, it's for each damage you've taken. So life tap should reduce this by 2. So let's say you even just life tap twice, this becomes 5 mana 5/5, still not fantastic. You play a Flame Imp, though, in between, you tap, you Flame Imp, you tap, you Flame Imp, you tap on turn 3. Like, sorry, let me go a little slower. Flame Imp on 1, Flame Imp, tap on 2, or, sorry. Flame Imp on 1, tap on 2, Flame Imp and tap on 3. All of a sudden, you dealt 3, 6, 8, 10 damage to yourself. You could play these for free. Obviously, that's, perfect world. You had to deal yourself 10 damage over the first, 3 turns. Then you get 2 5/5s. I actually think, even in saying that, that's not super powerful anymore. It takes a decent amount of build-up. These don't have rush or taunt or any way to immediately impact the board like a lot of the other discounted cards go. Definitely could see this being played, but I don't think it's as powerful as it initially sounds, say in my example, as I just gave. We have another big demon-y style Warlock card here called Loken, Jailer of Yogg-Saron, a 6 mana 3/3, which sounds terrible, but discover a minion from your deck and then summon summon a tentacle with its stats and taunt. So let's say you summon or you discover a 5/5, we'll just keep it decent stats in our head for right now. Also, this is a 3/3, get a 5/5 tentacle with taunt for 6. Pretty decent, actually. And then, of course, you have best case scenario. You summon or you discover Thaddeus or something. Phantom of the Warlock, Phantom of the Opera. That's 15/15. Also, this is a 6 mana 3/3, summon a 15/15 with taunt. Maybe you have Forge of Wills down already. Forge of Wills copies your 15/15 taunt token tentacle and gives you a 15/15 giant. Also, again, perfect world, probably not super likely to happen, but that could happen. And then your opponent on turn 6 has to deal with a 3/3 and basically 2 15/15s, one of which has rush and could have taken out whatever your opponent had on the board. I think this card is going to have some just crazy swing turns and games, and I'm looking forward to giving it a go. 1 mana monstrous form, give a friendly minion +3/+3 until your next turn. I mean, it's like giant growth in Magic for those who played, was like 1 green instant, give a card +3/+3 until the end of turn. This at least lasts to your next turn, so your opponent, like, you can value trade, and then your opponent, if they decide to kill it before it loses its buff, they may end up losing 2 minions to 1. Pretty good spell, I think. Good. It'll be good in like imp packages, so that way you can buff up a small thing, hit them once in the face, and make sure that stays alive for your future buffs. 3 mana, Mortal Eradication. Deal 5 damage, randomly split among all enemy minions. So there was a... Well, let me finish reading that first, I guess. Restore 2 health each to your hero for each killed. So we've had mage spell called Cinderstorm that was worse than this, to be fair. And it was played in mage decks. And I say worse because I'm pretty sure it was just the first half. 3 mana, deal 5 damage, randomly split among enemy minions. And in this case, except I think Cinderstorm also went face, so I guess it depends on your opinion. But to me, I think this is just crazy strong, especially in any kind of control Warlock. Your opponent's playing aggro. This probably kills, I'm going to guess, at least 2 minions, right? We hope so, anyway. So not only does it kill 2 minions, but hopefully heals you 4, which is probably most of the damage those 2 minions dealt to you in the first few turns of the game. Really powerful card here. Can't say anything bad about it. Next up, we have the 2 mana 2/2 Thornveil Tentacle, which is lifesteal, battlecry, deal 2 damage to a random enemy minion. 2/2, deal 2 damage, even if it's random. Already good. Lifesteal just makes it that much better. Again, probably good in all Warlock decks, not just control, but it's definitely a really powerful control-based deck. You could even play this into the card I just showed, right? You know, for 5 mana, and you hit something, you know, drop it down so their board has a lot less, because it also has to hit a minion. Beautiful card, love it. Love the idea of the art here as well, being the flower. Then we have Wing Welding, which is discard your highest cost card and then AoE it, basically. So this is kind of like, I wish I could remember the card. It was an older Warlock card that made you have to pick a minion and sacrifice it and then deal that much damage to the AoE. Apologies that I forget, but either way, this is a good, you know, you have, you're playing a control deck, so you have a bunch of expensive cards. You discard a 8, 9, or 10 cost card, effectively just board wipe them. Just board wipe them completely. Sure, you have to discard something, but I mean, hey, that's really good. I feel like this could be awkward in some cases because, of course, if you're playing a high-cost control-based deck, you do not want to discard some of those really high-cost cards. But at the same time, how often in a lot of decks do you go, well, geez, I wish I had an answer to this crazy board they summoned on turn 4 or 5 sometimes. Decks do that, right? Druid can do that pretty easily. And then now you just go, okay, well, it may suck later, but I'm going to discard my Thaddeus or something and deal just 10 damage and get rid of your opponent's entire combo that they built up. Very strong, very strong. Last here we have the Titan for the Warlock class, Sargeras the Destroyer. So Titans are cards that, in this case, actually does have a battle cry, so ignore this part for a sec, but they usually have 3 other effects that they play that are not battle cry related. That happens once when you play it, and then once every turn after. They can't attack until all 3 abilities are played. And in this case, it has the Twisting Nether. Oh, that's its portal, sorry. So it has To the Void, sorry. Send all other minions into the Twisting Nether. Which the Twisting Nether in this case is its battle cry. Open a portal that summons 3/2 imps each turn, which is just crazy value. Or Inferno, summon 2 6/6 Infernals from the Twisting Nether. Or Legion Invasion, future demons summoned from the Twisting Nether have +2 health and taunt. So let's say you play this on an open board. You'd likely pick Legion Invasion first, or at least I would, right? Gives your minions +2 health and taunt for the rest of the thing. And then I'm thinking the battle cry, because the imps come out each turn. I don't know if it's at the end of each turn or the start of each turn. But then going forward, they're going to become 3/4 with taunt. And then, of course, when you summon the 6/6s, there'll be 6/8s with taunt, and so forth. So every turn, that's just such a good value, right? So this is pretty crazy to me. And just the fact that it's all other minions as well. This becomes, if you need it to be, a 9 mana 6/12 effectively board clear except for itself. So literally the card Twisting Nether +1 mana to give yourself a 6/12 that gives you 2 3/2s every turn. One of the most powerful, I've said this a few times, but just to show you how powerful Titans are, but this is, I think, one of the most powerful Titans. Of course, it's 9 mana, so it kind of makes sense, but you play this in a control deck, and I feel like if you get this down, the game, unless you lose like the very next turn, is just inevitable at that point. Like Thanos is inevitable. So, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what your opinions are of the Warlock cards in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.